Oh, hello, I'm one of the beautiful bros, one of the beautiful bros, guys. I'm one of the beautiful Maverick Nation. I'm the Russian Maverick. And it's finally time for the real part 20 of What If My Hero Academia PkMn Crossover. Baby, we have actually finally made it to double freaking digits with this. Well, double freaking digits as in the double freaking digits of double freaking digits. We made it from 10 to 20. We made it all the way to 20, man. All the way to 20. Anyways, let's start from me distracting you guys from this. And let's actually get on to the show. But not without me being refreshed. Well, from where we left off, Izuku and Fam, Izuku, Shoto, Mina, and their latest member, Tenko Shimura. I just went through a whole lot of hell, having to deal with Zekrom, Reshiram, Kirim, Jirachi, Team LV. Then they had to go through a whole lot of hell concerning Rayquaza, and then out of nowhere, Suicune. Oh, there wasn't all that much hell going on there with that. But then there's also the thing about the dead language of the people of the long gone Alph region that we figured out in the last part. And that considering how things across the Euro region have been acting here lately, there might just be a possibility of the weather trio being the reason. Considering over in Springleaf Town, it is scorchingly freaking hot. And over in Dracomiris, it is not raining freaking Growlithe and Glameows. And if you don't get the reference, I am very disappointed by you. But you get what I'm talking about. It has to be Groudon and Kyogre. It has to be them. It just has to. So we get the general consistency that Tenko's wish had something to do with the weather trio. And considering what he was talking about, three kings. The first king is dead, the second king is dead, the third king is dead. Yeah. Ryuku thinks she might have a hunch on what that means, actually. But she would like for Izuku to battle her, and if he wins, then she will take him to a person who will be able to make sure it is affirmative that it is the truth. And so basically Izuku and his buds, Shoto, Mina, and Tenko, in the gym right now, basically decided, is so damn important because basically Ryuku decided that she's only gonna really, go to the person who will be able to make sure it is affirmative what she's thinking. She's thinking is the truth, if it actually is. Considering this whole Three Kings thing. That Shigaraki had been talking about for a little bit. And that might be possibly one of the most dangerous things about what he did wish for concerning the whole Three Kings bit. And basically, Izuku's like, well, seeing as you seem to know so much, before we actually battle, I would like to at least know at least from what you know of the dead language, what you actually really think you wished for. And, well, like a man possessed, Tenko tries to shut Ryuku up before she can tell Izuku. But Ryuku decides, Gudra, freaking, like, I don't know what the place, like, subdue this man. And basically Gudra is, like, weighing down on freaking Tenko, keeping him from going anywhere. And so, like, Izuku's basically like, okay, listening. And he's just, like, basically, Ryuku's just like, the whole Three Kings thing. The wish that he did basically was the deciding factor in the appearance of not only Rayquaza, but Groudon and the Kyogre as well, which is basically telling us why it's raining like Growlithe and Glameow's here, and it is scorching hot over where you're from. Well, is that, Kyogre and Groudon would explain that. Oh, and don't think that that's all. Remember freaking Rayquaza? Yeah. Basically, the whole thing about the wish is that there is sort of game to it. Yeah. Now, do you not doubt me about the ruler of hell thinking that they can just play God on a daily basis? They literally make a game out of a wish that could destroy the entire world. The game involves the three legendaries, basically the Weather Trio, and the person commanding said trio was, if you want to put it lightly, you could say commanding, in such a way as to, well, one being the king, the other one being the queen, and the third one being the fool. The one playing the game dictates who is the king, who is the queen, and who is the fool. And ever since the beginning of this game, it has always been the same. One of them has always been the king, one of them has always been the queen, and one of them has always been the fool. Their roles never change. And so technically, even though there's only supposed to be three of them, considering the role of the king and what's happened over the years, considering the king is dead, that line in particular, it's really only considered to be a premonition of things that are to come. considering it's basically a telltale sign that the people of the Alpha region could tell the future. At least the special ones could. They could tell that the king would die 3 times. However, one thing they weren't able to tell is if he would ever be resurrected for a 4th time of his life. That is one thing I guess you guys do indeed have a leg up on those people on, considering the king out of that game, well, your pink-haired friend doesn't need to seem to have lucked out on that one, or lucked on that one. And Mina would just be like, wait, what? Rayquaza is the king? And Riku would just be like, correction, the 4th king. Out of the many cycles in between Ozone Layer and Opaque Lake, in which Rayquaza would begin to sing again, and thus the line, the king is dead, would make itself known and its importance known as well. The cycles in between it living in the ozone layer and it retreating back to the opaque lake are considering the cycles, basically considered the cycles of the deaths of each king. And also how so many people know about this change in location. So yes, the 1st king is dead, the 2nd king is dead, and the 3rd king is dead. However, the 4th king is very much alive. You've made sure of that, I can see. That for sure. Well, thank you. I try my best. Just knowing that I have this little ritual game that the people of the Alpha region used to try to play to make themselves like gods. That Rayquaza is technically the 4th king, and from the look that you're giving me, probably something that they didn't expect to happen. And Ryuku would just be like, well, you're right about that there. No one ever did indeed expect a 4th king to ever happen. Once the 3rd king was dead, they were convinced there would never be another king. They were convinced that Rayquaza would be gone forever. Their king would be gone forever. Now, do you understand why they're so damn stupid? Even for all of their special abilities, they really just did not have. Just never mind. And he's just like, way. And Shoto finishes the sentence for him. If Rayquaza is the king, typically the 4th king this time around, then who were the queen and the fool? Who said that never changes? The ones in those roles never change, and the same thing goes for Rayquaza being the king each and every time. Then who would be the queen and the fool? And Ryuku being like, oh boy, it's a good thing the Groudon doesn't really pay attention to me, or else I might just get smoted by a freaking solar beam for saying this. But, like I said, and you reminded me, said to remind me of what I said, yes, the roles do not change.
Pause it for a second.
What is that?
Oh, it's a snack for you to try.
Okay, I'm gonna pause this, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sure, my brain's blown out, but I am indeed back. Now back to the freaking story. Where were we? Well, basically, explaining who was the queen and who was the fool. Ryuku, indeed, telling them about if Groudon could actually hear her, he probably would get smoted with a solar beam. Because how the roles never really change throughout how many incarnations that Alf, the leader of Alf, believe there to technically be as a part of the game. Kyogre has always been the queen, and Groudon has always been the fool. As said with the fourth king, the king that was not expected to be resurrected for a fourth time, but gladly, yes, indeed, it happened. This is the fourth king. Now, as for the cycles of resurrection for the queen and fool, it's not really specific. Like Ryuku's it's not really specific for those, but she's actually pretty much cross in between actually understanding and not understanding at all why that would actually be that way, why that would actually be so. And now that basically everyone understands what exactly Tenko wished for, the basically uprising of the king, queen, and fool in technical, game. Usually there's a little, off still. I mean, one second Tenko is being rather, nice, pleasant guy, and the next second he's freaking speaking dead languages and freaking summoning the weather trio to freaking smite them. Or smoke, smite, whatever the frick you want to call it. Pronounce it as. And Riku's like, I told you your friend was dangerous. And Izu was like, no, they weren't exactly their exact words, but whatever. I'm still not leaving him out to dry. He's my friend for a reason. And I tell that still deep down he's a good person. Just that, well, something's gone wrong, and, well, I intend to fix whatever has gone wrong in order to save my friend without having to cast him aside. If you have a problem with that, you can take it up with my Pokemon, Ryuku. And Ryuku would just be like, oh, we got a feisty one here. Well then, I gladly accept the challenge, noob. And Izuku would just be like, lady, if you're just trying to do this to piss me off, let me let you in on a little secret. You already have made me pissed. You don't necessarily need to try harder. Well then, Like Ryuku was like, well then, if you're that convinced, I guess I'll just have to beat it out of you. Let's go. Altaria! And Altaria is like, Altaria! And Izuku would just like be like, Altaria. Why isn't that so? Basically, Ryuki sees Izuku reach for two things, and she's like, wait, what? It's like, Blastoise! Mega Blastoise A! Blastoise! And Ryuku's like, oh shit. Basically, it's like, Altaria, Dragon Dance! And Izuku's just like, oh no, you don't. Ice Punch, Blastoise, Altaria? Like a freaking balloon that's lost all its helium, like, into a wall. Yeah, Mega Blastoise with Ice Punch, like, freaking gangsta, like original gangsta. Like freaking, sure you can. It was like, damn. It was like TFS abridged. Freaking, like, Cell just like, and Vegeta's just like, sure you can. And be like, fine. Like, that's type of gangsta. Original gangsta. Yeah, and Ataria just got one-shotted. And Ryuku's like, what did I even just see there? And just like, good return. And just like, Guja, out. Our target now is this asshole. And Izuku's like, oh, thanks for the compliment. Now, Blastoise, Rapid Spin. It's like kicking up dust and freaking winds. Like freaking Mach 2 winds as it's going towards Gudra. Because, it's still in the Mega Blastoise state. But it's doing this. So, like, all sorts of shit's going wrong. And basically, Ryuku's like, Gudra! Hyper Beam! And then, all of a sudden, shoots off of the shell and smacks Gudra. Gudra's like, what just happened? And then just like, boom, out of the freaking way. Boom, get out the way, get out the way, get out the way. And Blastoise would just like resurface, like, boom, head, boom, one arm, boom, other arm, boom, leg, boom, leg. And even the tail, like, boom, tail. And Blastoise just like just a minor headache, minor inconvenience. It just freaking took a hyper beam like a champ. And then decided to just freaking ludicrosize freaking Gudra into the ground. But he would just still be standing. And then all of a sudden, you would just hear, Dragon Breath Gudra! And Izuku would be like, Rapid Spin! And they'd be like, oh no, you don't. And we'll just grab onto the hole where Blastoise head is supposed to be. And be like, Dragon Breath right in there, like, right inside the shell. And all of a sudden, head and leg and freaking arm and tail will just pop out and blood fall backwards out of the mega form and just out in general. And Gudra will just be like, Gudra! Like some freaking Shaka Zulu shit. And Ryuku will be like, I didn't say I was going to make it easy on you, brat. And Izuku will just be like, oh, well, that's how you want to play. And all that. Allow me to show you Musharna! Musharna! Wow! And basically, Ryuku's like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Dragon Pulse Gudra. And oh boy. Oh boy. Basically, Dragon Pulse and like, surprisingly, Musharna takes it like a boss. However, whenever freaking Gudra leaned in for like the Dragon Pulse actually hit, because they were at a relatively long range from each other, it just like automatically like it's like Musharna had like a freaking sneeze going on. Moo, 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 shoot! And just sneezed at freaking Dream Mist in Gudra's face. And just like freaking dropped. Everybody do the flop. The polka flop. Gudra being out. Dream Misty time. Dream Misty. Dream Misty. Dream Misty. Dream Misty. Dream Misty time. So yeah, that's like returning Gudra. So basically that's two of Ryuku's Pokemon down. Basically, Ryuku's just like, okay, asshole, this is the end for you. Charizard! Charizard. And then Ryuku's just like, oh shit, might just be right. Wait, I gotta think positive about this. Musharna, Psychic! And basically, at the same time that happens, Ryuku would just be like, Dragon Rage! Charizard! Basically, smack into each other and create a giant fog where basically the only thing we'll be able to see after that is like Musharna fainted and Charizard up in the air, but flapping the wings just to make the fallen grace not hurt as much. So yeah, this Charizard be strong as hell, and he's just like, okay, I gotta be smart about this one. Go! Tapu Koko! Tapu Koko! And it's just like, huh, cheeky little squirt. Like, really be like, cheeky little squirt. Anyways, how about this? I mean, like, and Izuku would know about the fact that there's actually two different stones for Charizard's Mega Evolution. Because it technically has two different ones. Mega Charizard Y, Mega Charizard X. And it seemed to be a Mega Charizard X-ite that you just pulled out of nowhere. He was like, son of a... And all of a sudden, boom! Mega Charizard X. And, well, after that... This is the Mega Charizard X now versus Tapu Koko. And so it was like, Tapu Koko, Moonblast! And Ryuku's like, Charizard, finish him off. Overheat! I was like, Choo! And this would actually rock the gym, the impact from these two moves hitting each other. Freaking Moonblast and Overheat. Like, and once the smoke had been cleared, basically, would have seen basically what it looked like Tapu Koko basically having tackled like the Moonblast into the Overheat, all the way into freaking Charizard, powering it down out of its Mega form, and just freaking down in general. It basically, Tapu Koko is not above freaking hauling ass whenever needed. And by hauling ass, I mean freaking Spartan raging the hell out of Pokemon, if it need be. And Tapu Koko must have had a need be because it freaking slammed right into Charizard's Overheat with its Moonblast all the way into Charizard. Yeah, this be a desperate battle here. Boys, we got a desperate battle. Basically, Ryuku being like, okay, that is it! Dragonair! And I was like, phew. And this is whenever you would hear like the final like Pokemon music from like the gym leader in like the Black and White games. Like dun, 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 dun. Freaking that shit would start playing up. And basically you're gonna be like sizing them up like Dragonair, Dragon Dance. And basically as a less sort of fleeting effort. Plus, seeing as Tapu Koko basically ghosted itself with that last attack, being like, "Hey, let me," and he's just like not really understanding. And basically, Puzzle just jumps on top of Tapu Koko, like from a point of like peripheral vision, which Ryuku wouldn't actually be able to see this, and starts to supercharge it with like a nuclear freaking thunderbolt into like its everything. And basically Tapu Koko has now just went the equivalent of Super Saiyan. And then Puzzle just like freaking light speeds off like right behind Izuku before Ryuku can even see any of that happen. All of a sudden it just looks like Tapu Koko went freaking Super Saiyan. And Izuku's like, oh, thanks, buddy. And Tapu Koko looking over and be like, Tapu Koko, like, thanks. Thanks for the extra buzz. And then all of a sudden you would just hear Bibbidi Buck Bumble. There's like freaking Buck Bumble up in his house. Because then all of a sudden there would just be like this reel back, and Tapu Koko would basically release the like electric type equivalent to a Falcon Punch. It was like, whoa, Bibbidi Buck Bumble. And just right up in freaking, Dragonair's grill. And basically Ryuku would be like, oh no you don't. Dragonair, Dragon Tail. And basically Dragon Tail connected with whatever the frick Tapu Koko's trying to pull. It's like, smack. And basically Tapu Koko would think it won until it feels like it's kind of being choked all around its entire body. Like the blood circulation's even trying to be cut off. Basically, it's like, Dragonair, rap! And no, not the kind of rapping Eminem does, no. The, like, rap would be like a wrap around the body and basically strangulation. And basically, it was like, at this point, Tapu Koko really won't be able to do much. Well then, return Tapu Koko. Puzzle! And Ryuku would be like, wait, what? Nani? And also would just be like, it would be like the electric terrain set up whenever Tapu Koko was about to dish out that Falcon Punch. And so just absorb all the electric terrain. And I think you guys know what's about to happen next. Like, little Dragonair is wrapped around itself. It cannot do jack shit. And just gets, I'm a fire in my blah! So you obliterated by freaking Fossil. One-shotted. Like, and just indented into the freaking. Like, went all the way through the ceiling and is now falling back down. Like, basically, the closest thing Izuku knows to terminal velocity. And so he's like, go, Talonflame! And Ryuku's like, what are you doing? He's like, Talonflame, save Dragonair! And basically, Talonflame goes swooping in, saving Dragonair from falling to its death. Basically, Ryuku's like, kid, you may just be alright. And freaking Tenko off in the background would have been, and you just now noticed? And Ryuku's like, oh, other kid. You seem to be sobering up quite well. Haven't heard you rambling on about some crazy weird freaking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs bullshit in quite some time, quite a while. And Tenko would be like, what are you talking about? And basically, after that whole thing was done, and basically Izuku knowing what the end reward will be, or at least half of the end reward, because there's also the technical machine, which he does not exactly remember what technical machine he gets from Ryuku if he were to beat her. He does not remember, so Ryuku has to remind him, or at least tell him in the first place. Basically, here's the Draco badge, for all your troubles. And something super special that you actually might find some, interest in. And he's just like, and that would be, well, tell me, kid. Do you have any Pokemon that would be interested in becoming a little bit more versatile than they already are? And be able to actually learn a dragon move in their arsenal? And he's either just thinking through his Pokemon, and then he remembers, oh yeah, that's right, Necrozma's a dragon type. And technically, he doesn't remember all of Necrozma's actual moves. He just kind of remembers, well, the only thing he remembers right now that Necrozma has, because he's kind of distracted in the moment of battle, the only thing he remembers right now is the fact of Photon Geyser and Prismatic Laser. Those are the only things he can think of on the top of his head. And basically, it's like, okay, now that we got that straight, here you go. A technical machine for the move Twister. And Izuku's like, Twister? Like, thanks. And Ryuku's like, don't thank me yet. We still have certain something to deal with. And Shoto's like, whoa, lady, take it slow here. And Ryuku's like, oh yeah, that. Basically, one trip to the Pokemon Center later. And basically, Ryuku's like, can we go now? And basically, Shoto's starting to get restless again. Not Shoto. Freaking Tenko. Tenko's starting to get restless again. And basically, Izuku's like, okay, guys, let's go. Come on. And no, Riku, you do not need to put handcuffs on Tenko. You're just a little cranky. And Ryuku's like, just a little, he's trying to bite my hands off. Really? That's what Izuku's like, really? That's what you call that? if you didn't have stuff on your hands. And Ryuku's like, oh yeah, I didn't necessarily want to wait in there with you, so I decided to walk around. No wonder that Vespa attacked me. Honey's all over my hands. Like, why would he be interested in the honey on my hands? And basically, Tenko's like, because I haven't eaten things in any days. And he's just like, ah, oh, shit, sorry, man. This everything that's happened kind of, I don't think we've eaten anything in days either. It's not that I forgot you. It's that, well, everyone else has to, you know. Basically, it's like, he's just like, it's not that I forgot you. It's like that everyone else has had to deal with that problem as well. We haven't eaten anything in days. And Ryuku's just like, well, I can tell that would be a problem. So, how about this? And, Ryuku would just have some food, and he's gonna be like, oh my god. And he's like, finally, finally. And so after they finally forget to eat the food, in which Franco does seem to finally, be complacent and no longer in a state of unrest. Finally just freaking food. And voila, so we could decide to use the Pokemon centers bathrooms, wash hands away, from Honey no longer wanting to get attacked with freaking wild Vespiquen. Not like she wanted that at all, but especially not wanting that if basically having Honey on her hands is basically going to be the end result of why the Vespiquen would be attacking her. And even some Beedrill, but Beedrill kind of just at random times. It's mostly been Vespiquen, but sometimes Beedrill. I don't really seem interested in the honey, more or less interested in killing the person who has the honey. So finally, basically, Izuku, Shota, Mina, Tenko, Ryuku finally decides, well, I guess no shorter way of saying it. We go north from Springleaf Town, and we will eventually hit it. The Victory Road. Or at least that's what I would say. But it seems like there's no real point in delaying the inevitable, so. And if you have a Pokemon that knows Teleport as soon as we hit Victory Road, that will save us a lot of problems. And he's just like, you fought a Pokemon that knows Teleport, but freaking Musharna. And so basically, as soon as they hit the Victory Road, it's like, Musharna, teleport. And just like, poof. And then, they're right at the start of the freaking Elite Four, place, with all the different rooms. Kind of like how Black and White did it, where, there's different rooms and you can kind of select in which order you want to do this. And basically, what does that happen is they have reached the room, very specific room, Rock Lock's room. him being a psychic type Elite Four, person. Yes, psychic type. And, well, Ryuku's like, just asking a favor. You mind helping us with the whole thing with his kid? And Rocklock was like, you just came here for this reason? And he's just like, and also the value. That'd be nice too. And Rocklock's like, well, I see where our priorities lie here. Fine. I'll deal with the kid first. And Ryu's like, which one? And Rock's like, are you trying to freaking mess with me? Just giving her that look, giving Ryuka that look. And he's like, of course you know what kid I'm freaking talking about. This guy over here. Basically, Tenko's like, ushered in, like, towards Rocklock, and Rocklock's like, okay, let's do this already. Hypno. 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 Let's see if we can find the balance within this one. Basically, Hypno's like, Hypno. Hypno. And basically, Tenko is like looking at the little ring thing around like the little thing that Hypno has. And like, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, Tenko just ends up falling asleep. And basically, Rocklock kind of puts his hands on his shoulders and moving one of them up to his little forehead. And being like, yes, I think I'm beginning to see the problem here. And Rocklock is just like, I see. I don't exactly know how to sugarcoat this so it doesn't sound as painful. It seems that there are residual traces of your friend's life as All for One's technical lab dog, and any lessons that he had learned to further his knowledge about the Three Kings ritual of the Weather Trio of Hoenn. Yes. It seems that whatever All for One did, it messed up Tenko's mind very, very, very badly. I don't even think I'll be able to repair this. That is unless Hypno over there is like points to one specific place, and Hypno's like, Hypno, and just like is able to psychically like levitate the item from where Rocklock pointed, and basically like it's like Rocklock gets the Pokeball and he's like, Espeon, and just like you just see Espeon, and just like Espeon. And basically, it's like, return Hypno. Hypno. Basically, while Tenko's still asleep, Rock is like, Espeon, be very careful. This is a one-in-a-lifetime thing. This boy is very, very tormented in the ways of his own soul and mind. And Espeon's like, Espeon! Like, you really think I'm not going to be able to do this? You way underestimating me, man. You way underestimating me. Like, just like he's a good Salazzle, Espeon, Rocklock's Espeon has like this freaking swagger about it. Like, I am the best at what I do. So just lay back there and get yourself like a swivel seat or whatever, and popcorn, drink, candy, I don't care, and watch me do my work. Uninhibited, of course, but watch me do my work. And basically, what happens is just like the red gem that is on Espeon just starts glowing, and all of a sudden, freaking some like crazy like gozer shit starts happening with Tenko's eyes start to glow. And they're like Tenko's body seems to start convulsing, but like kind of a gentle convulsion, like just like that, but not really all that hard. And it just seems like whatever psychic power Espeon is using, it's like rattling throughout Tenko. Basically, Rocklock explaining that whatever Espeon is actually doing, it's actually seen it before, and the closest thing he can remember to actually what this is, well, Espeon basically doing its best to cleanse Tenko's actual mind of the most scarring parts of what All For One did to him in order to make him so subservient and such a lapdog for his amusement and getting what he wanted. So basically, can't take all the bad parts away, but can definitely take all the worst parts of the bad parts away. And that's basically what Espeon is doing. Scrubbing freaking Tenko's mind clean as hell, at least for the most part, of All For One's influence and just scarring of his like freaking psyche. And this is basically, once Espeon is finally done with its work, just kicks back and waits for Tenko to wake up. Like, guys, what just happened? And he was like, Tenko, you made it, buddy. And Espeon is like, Espeon. And basically, Izuku starts to freaking pets freaking Espeon. And like, thank you so much. And Espeon's like, Espeon! Like, Espeon's like, I can get used to this. Rocklock never does this. This kid just seems to be able to do it just fine. He's like, Rocklock, why do you never do this? And basically, everybody, Shoto, Mina, Izuku, check up on Tenko, making sure he's, finally better. And it doesn't need, seem as if Espeon and Hypno, what they did, has indeed helped cure Tenko of his, illness of the mind. What was left of All For One's influence on it. Basically causing him to do something that would basically be the equivalent of if he was still working with Team LOV. Yeah, All For One wasn't just going to let him leave without having, causing him to basically do something that would definitely make him look frowned upon, for basically coming into the world, if not through the Reggies and freaking Ultra and Crozma, through the freaking Weather Trio, and like the actual, ritual of the Three Kings. Yeah. The All For One is like, you just don't leave me. You just don't. I letting that happen. So basically, Hypno and Espeon finally just like tag teaming up, scrubbing, off one's influence, being able to make, Tenko do all these bad things. One thing now about that is the Queen and the Fool, keep the basic Kyogre and Groudon. They have really no one to like chain themselves to, no one to really keep them from just going rabid. And all of a sudden you just feel like the dryness and the wetness increase dramatically. Basically, they go primal Kyogre and primal Groudon. But indeed, there will be the fourth king to stop this madness. Because Mina has the fourth king. And so basically, she's just like, go, Rayquaza! And I was like, and it's almost like Rayquaza already knows why it's out. Finally out of the damn Pokeball. Like it was kind of getting bored. And just like, do your thing. Here you go, Mega Rayquaza. And Rayquaza was just like, thank you. Damn it. Groudon, Kyogre, idiots. Freaking burn in the region, freaking drown in the region. You have no freaking tact now, too. Just like freaking an unapproving parent. Just like freaking chewing up and spitting out their own kids. Just like, you two are absolute trash. You freaking don't even have tact. You don't even have sense. You are stupid. So stupid. And just everybody crazy. The fireman like just like goes off like pew, swoosh. And Rayquaza actually gets to freaking Kyogre and Groudon and just sees that they're just kind of like fighting it out. And Rayquaza's just like, oh hell no. And it's like Rayquaza just starts beating the shit out of Kyogre and Groudon. Like, you gotta remember, like, primal form or not, freaking Rayquaza is still Mega Rayquaza right now. Just like start beating the ever-living shit, the ever-living tar shit out of Kyogre and Groudon like it's no freaking tomorrow. Like, there is no freaking tomorrow. Crisscross applesauce on these dookie dookies. Dookie dookies. And finally, it would just wrap itself around them, basically trying to choke hold them. Like, now, who's your daddy and who's your mommy? And basically like, you are. And Okaza would just be like, now, who's going to stop eating their primal forms so that the earth won't die? And Kyogre and Groudon was like, we are. And Okaza was like, now, on final last one, who's going to get back wherever they freaking came from so that this won't happen anymore at all? And Kyogre and Groudon are like, we are. And freaking Rayquaza is like, now good, now do exactly that. And Kyogre and Groudon finally out of the iron grip of freaking Rayquaza. Like, shit. Kyogre, you heard it. You heard him. And Kyogre's like, Groudon, you heard it. I was like, freaking get the hell out of the way. Like, they all just both agree, like, freaking Mega Rayquaza is scary whenever it's pissed. And then the Rayquaza just returns back, like return stroke with light speed, it's freaking over to me, and it's just like, okay, I dealt with my, El Stupido counterparts, the stupids. Okay, now what? I mean, it's just like, okay, just bonks with a Pokeball. And it's like, thank you, Rayquaza. That's like the last thing Rayquaza hears right before it gets put back in the Pokeball. I was like, well, at least there's gratitude there. Like, at least she, like, is like, nice enough to say thank you. At least that's one thing about her. She's nice enough to say thank you. For the services to the entire planet. So basically, that resolves that. And now Rocklock is like, so let me get this straight. You want to fight me, Izuku Midoriya? Well then, let's do this. And basically, would be like, go Hypno! And Izuku would be like, oh, Hypno! Go Musharna! And Musharna would be like, Musharna! And Hypno would be like, Hypno! And basically, Musharna would be faster. Be like, Musharna, Zen Headbutt! And basically, Rocklock would be like, Hypno, do some boom! Like, just boom! Tagged. And Hypno would be out. There's like, one go, and out of here. Like, going, gone. And then the next Pokemon would be like, Espeon, get out of here. And Espeon's just like, Espeon? And Musharna would just be like, Musharna! And Izuku would just be like, oh, hey Espeon. Sorry about this, but I gotta do this. And would just be like, Musharna, Psybeam! And Rocklock would be like, Espeon, Psybeam! Be like Psybeams connecting, like, do, like, freaking Dragon Ball. And then all of a sudden, like, Dream Mist would come out of Musharna, and, like, the entire room would just be blanketed by Dream Mist. And so if Espeon tries to dodge this, so it doesn't get hit, it's going to go straight into the Dream Mist. And sadly, that is how dumb Espeon is. Like, at least if you stayed there, you could say you tanked it, if possible. But, right into the Dream Mist, and Espeon is out. Like, you guys don't understand, Izuku's freaking Musharna has some wicked-ass Dream Mist. Basically, Rocklock would be like, go Metacham! And Metacham would be like, Metacham! And Izuku would be like, okay, well, this looks interesting. And basically, Rocklock would be like, Metacham, Metronome! And Metronome comes up as Dark Pulse. And basically, Musharna is like, I just ended that. And he's just like, come on, return, Musharna. You did a good fight, buddy. You did a good fight. Now, let's go. Blastoise! Blastoise! And Metronome is just like, poop. Poopy poops. Is like, Blastoise, Ice Punch! And freaking Rocklock would be like, Metronome again! And MHA was like, metronome for freaking Giga Impact. I was like, boom! Like, out of that collision, not only would Blastoise kind of be stuck in its shell, spinning, swing, bait, right round, record player, kind of spinning after that. But the bad side on Rocklock's part is Medicham would now be frozen to literal death. And Rocklock would just be like, come back, Medicham. And he's going to be like, you okay there, Blastoise? And Blastoise are just like, well, still being in its shell, be like, you think I'm okay, asshole? And just like pop out there. And Rocklock would be like, oh, you making me so mad. Basically be like, go, Bronzong! Be like, Bronzong! And basically one little notification will pop up on Izuku's Pokedex, like saying that Bronzong has the heat-proof ability. So that even though Blastoise isn't a fire-type Pokemon, just informing Izuku that fire-type moves will do less damage onto Bronzong because of the heat-proof ability. And Izuku's like, son of a... He's just like, why me? And basically, it just amounts up to, like, Blastoise! Let's end this! Surf! And like, freaking Rocklock's just like, Bronzong Hyper Beam! And so, basically, Blastoise are the equivalent to just dive bombing into a Hyper Beam. And, just shoots it backwards into a wall. And, like, he's just like, damn it! Like, this is just not fair. And basically, return Blastoise. And it's just like, well, this seems especially troubling. But it's just like, go, basically, going off top of Coco shit. The top of Coco just comes out, and it's like, top of Coco Zap Cannon! And Rocklock is just like, Bronzong Hyper Beam! And it's just like, Bronzong's like, just gives it a look and, like, Bronzong's like, oh yeah, Hyper Beam must recharge. And just like Zap Cannon, like, just gets with a Zap Cannon. From Tapu Koko, no less. But now, turn comes around, and now has recharged. Bronzong, use Hyper Beam! And he's just like, Moon Blast Tapu Koko! And Tapu Koko now knows better than just dive bomb into the Moon Blast, hope for the best. But the problem with that is Tapu Koko's actually starting to get pushed back by the freaking Hyper Beam. And it actually splits the Moon Blast in two, and it's starting to eclipse the Moon Blast within itself, creating some sort of black hole singularity, like crushing Tapu Koko. Basically, Tapu Koko is barely standing. And he's like, okay, Tapu Koko, you gotta win it. Tapu Koko, metronome! And Rocklock's like, wait, what? Time to get a dose of your same medicine. And the metronome turns out as last resort. Yeah, exactly like turn your best medicine. Like last resort, bam! Out of there. Bronzong is out of there. And now, time for the final Pokemon again. Final Pokemon music. It's Gothitelle! Boom, Gothitelle! And, it's like, return. Peppa Coco, you did a good fight. You did a good fight. Okay, let's do this. Puzzle, go! And Puzzle's just like, oh, hell yeah, this is good. First Elite Four battle. And just like, first battle Elite Four, I'm going in. I'm gonna kick your ass to the dance floor. And your whole career. Kick ass to the dance floor. And basically, it'd be like, Rockon would be like, Gothitelle, sight! And right before you'd be able to finish that sentence, Izuku would just be like, Puzzle! Return! And basically, like, Rockon would be like, wait, what? You just sent it out. And no, Izuku's like giving him that look, not that return, the other return. And, Rockon's basically like, wait, what? And seeing as well what return does, basically the opposite of the move frustration. So yeah, and seeing as Puzzle and Izuku have been together for I don't even know how long, of how many parts of this. Yeah, and Puzzle's been pretty much a badass upon badasses. Yeah, Return is going to freaking destroy Gothitelle. But like, boom! Like freaking boom, bitch! Get out of the way! Get out of the way, bitch! Get out the way! It's like all the smoke clears and freaking Gothitelle tried to put up a freaking protect just because of the fear of the freaking shit that was coming after it. But the protect like slammed back into it like shards cutting into its flesh, like yeah, epic fail. And also probably should get your Gothitelle checked, just make sure it doesn't die. Malcolm is just like, well, damn. Just damn. Anyways, now you can move forward in any which way you like. Though, my suggestion is, well, the one who calls herself the Rabbit Hero could indeed be a good suggestion. And he's just like, oh, really? Well, what about that? And, Rockbody just like, well, she's more of a fighting type person, so you might just be able to get a leg over her with some of your surprises. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And he's even like her, like, oh, fighting type, that does indeed seem interesting. And basically just he uses the healing machine in, Rocklock's little room thing, and basically like, heals a little Pokemon. And just like, okay, the next one. The next battle. The Rabbit Hero Pokemon Trainer. Mirko, the Elite Four. And basically going to skip all the way in that room. And basically, whenever you finally does indeed get to Mirko, is like, Mirko, I am going to go against you. And Mirko's like, oh, so you've been rehearsing those lines? Just kidding. Let's do this anyways. No time for prep. No time for talking. Let's do this. Finish your brony ass. And Izuku's like, okay. She just seems to be very forceful. And Mizuko could say that, well, basically, with certain knowledge, basically, what happened is basically she'd be like, yo, Min Xiao. Min Xiao. And Izuku would be like, okay, go with Shauna. Mushan! And basically, Mirko would be like, gosh, shot Min Xiao. And Musharana would basically, Izuku would be like, Musharana, Zen Headbutt. And basically, cross shot means Zen Headbutt, smack. And it kind of just flips around like Mean Shout up into the freaking, like it's all the way its head into the ground, ostrich syndrome. And just kind of gives Musharana a minor migraine. And basically, it goes like, no time for talk. Go Lucario. Make a Lucarioite. And he's just like, oh shit. Basically, he's like, Musharana return. Go Blastoise. Mega Blastoise. And, Eric was like, oh, you want to go that way? You want to go this way? Cheeky little weirdo. And it was basically like, Lucario Aura Spears! And he was just like, okay, that's it. Blastoise! Sheer cold! It was like, shh. It was like, shh. And basically, Lucario was down. Basically, Mirko's just like, go Hariyama! Like, Hariyama! And basically, he's just like, Ice Punch Blastoise! And Mirko's just like, Dynamic Punch Hariyama! I was like, punch, but it's like one of those things in like the anime where like swords and like Swords Classic, shing, and basically Blastoise starts to fall forward, and like It's like Hariyama's about to attack from behind, and then all of a sudden turns around and decks him right in the freaking face with an ice punch, like following right after. Yes, that's some severe depth and field, you know. So yeah, already 3 Pokemon down. Basically, Miracle's like, go Hitmontop! Hitmontop! And basically, Hitmontop will start to barrel roll, to barrel roll, to barrel roll, do a barrel roll. Hey, it looks better than the Harlem Shake. I'd rather do a barrel roll than the Harlem Shake any day. So, yeah, basically. Izuku decided, return Blastoise. Let's do this. Go, Talonflame! Basically, Talonflame's like, it's like, Flame! And basically, Miracle's like, let's finish this in one go. Signature move. Him on top, triple kick. And him on top's like, him on top, him on top, him on top, him on top. And he was just like, oh, you want to go? Well then, Talonflame. Let's show him that we can rock and roll too. Brave Bird! And just like triple kick and Brave Bird smash into each other. I was like, smack! Like, pow! Like they both knock each other out. As anime as hell. Basically, last Pokemon, time for the last Pokemon music, black and white. It's like, go Machoke! And he's just like, oh, Machoke. Well then, come back, Musharna. And just sends out Musharna again. And, Miracle's like, no, I don't think so. And basically, a dual move, like basically, Zen Headbutt versus freaking Impact. It's like, Machoke, you got Impact. And it's like, Musharna, freaking Zen Headbutt. I was like, no. And it's just like, Machoke is like, wee, I'm flying. Yeah, Musharna is like a freaking tank and a half. Especially seeing it's a psychic type Pokemon. This is a fighting type Elite Four member. And Miracle's just like, okay, you beat me. I'm not ashamed to admit defeat. As long as it's warranted. The next Elite Four member is a guy by the name of Ectoplasm. And yes, that name does indeed mean something. The Pokemon he uses. And he's just like, oh, ghost types. That's interesting. How about? He's like, heal, like, do. And then go on to the next suggested room, that being Ectoplasm. And basically, whenever, Izuku would get there, he'd be like, oh, yo, Ectoplasm. And Ectoplasm would be like, oh, yes, Izuku Midoriya. This is where we will do battle. Basically, he'd be like, Oh, Gengar! And he's gonna be like, okay, let's do this. Tapu Koko! Tapu Koko! Gengar! And basically, he's just like, Tapu Koko! Fairy Wind! And, you know, Ectoplasm would just be like, Gengar, Shadow Ball! I was like, Choo! But the thing is, Fairy Wind is like multiple different attacks, like multiple Fairy Winds. So like, it actually starts to go around the Shadow Ball, like as a defense, but also as an attack, and starts hitting Gengar. As a Gengar. Like, I just saw like a pirate. Anyways, I was like, next thing I'll be like, Tapu Koko! Let's show him real power! Let's go! Moonblast! Tapu Koko! And, you know, Ectoplasm would just be like, Gengar, Shadow Punch! Basically, the thing is, Gengar would be punching a Moonblast. And the Moonblast would actually punch the Shadow Punch, like push the Shadow Punch back into Gengar. So it'd be punching itself with its own stab attack because the Shadow Punch is a ghost type move. Gengar is a ghost type. So stab damage, technically. And then Moonblast on top of that. So, yeah, Gengar would be downzo. Down, 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 downzo. And basically, Ectoplasm would be like, go, Misdreavus! And Mr. would be like, Misdreavus! And Isuku would just be like, okay, then. Tapu Koko! Let's show him electric terrain! And Mr. was about, and basically Ectoplasm would be like, Misdreavus! Nightshade! And Tapu Koko would be like just barely being able to brave the storm. And Tapu Koko would shoot back with something very fun because for a while it would look like, you know, Tapu Koko wasn't really doing anything. But Izuku, just looking at Misdreavus, will remember what happened basically what Aizawa did the first time that he fought Aizawa. Bide. Yes, that's right. Metronome, and it's a metronome for bide. And basically just like, Falcon, pounce! Freaking lights out of Misdreavus. The freaking bide. And Electric Giant. Basically, it'd be like, go, Sableye! And Sableye would be like, Sableye! And Izuku would be like, Tapu Koko, Zap Cannon! And like, basically, Ectoplasm would be like, Sableye, Crunch! Basically, Sableye dive bombing in there, trying to get through the freaking electricity. Like, trying to Matrix it. And basically, Izuku being like, now, Tapu Koko, change course and win Moonblast! And Ectoplasm would be like, wait, what? Like, Ectoplasm knows that Sableye, like, just non-actual Mega Sableye, just regular Sableye, has shit stats. And they have no weaknesses, but it does have shit stats. And so, just this one change of course of action just ends Sableye. Basically, Ectoplasm was like, go Dusknoir! And basically, yeah, that would be Dusknoir. You ever wonder why it's called the Gripper Pokemon? Well, basically, Izuku's like, Tapu Koko, Thunder Punch! And freaking Ectoplasm's like, Deathmore, Shadow Punch. And they basically connect, and like, boom! But then all of a sudden the electric terrain would disappear, and, kind of just like as a friggin' electric terrain hammer, it would kind of go from on the floor to the ceiling, and then all the way back down, like hammer down onto Deathmore. And the scorn would be kind of like stuck there, like kind of what happened with like freaking Shinji, like pulling Shakaho and just like blast it open. Deathmore would, freaking, and Izuku would be like, Zap Cannon, Tapu Koko, and Ectoplasm would be like, Nightshade, Dusknoir. And basically, the two would hit each other, knocking out both Tapu Koko and Dusknoir. Yeah, so. Finally, going back to the final Pokemon, Chandelure. Go, Chandelure! Chandelure! And basically, it's like, okay, make this quick. Go, Plusle! And Plusle's just like, Plusle Plus! And Ectoplasm's kind of confused, like, how is this a danger to my Pokemon? And basically, it's like, whatever. Chandelure. Show him no mercy. Will-O-Wisp. And Izuku's just like, oh, this is just freaking adorable. And he's just like, show him true power. Plusle. Let's do that. Lightning bolt power. We got Thunderbolts. Just a reference to Pokemon Lego or Lego Pokemon. Just a reference to that, and freaking Skittles gym. It's just like Ampharos. Rock like an Egyptian to the shock to their systems. Like basically, it's like rock like an Egyptian, put a shock to their systems. Like that shit, and it just freaking like a brain fry. Not light fry, but it's like a brain fry. And then Ectoplasm went like, Chandelure, take him down. Let's end this with Ominous Wind. And basically, Izuku would be like, Brave the Storm, Puzzle, Iron Tail. And Ectoplasm was like, wait, what? Nani? It was like, smack. And just get tossed, crisscross applesauce tossed. And Ectoplasm would just be like, okay, you basically kicked my ass to several ways someday. And from the way it looks like you've been going about things, the last opponent you'll have to face. A rather interesting individual by the name of Edgeshot. He is a normal type Elite Four member. So expect anything and nothing at the same time. Ectoplasm just being a dick. And so basically, whenever Izuku finally does get healed up and get into Edgeshot not really much for saying things. Just dude doing what the dude does. Whenever the battle actually starts, like Stoutland, like Stoutland, and he's like, okay, well, I know what not to do. But that's what I would say if Mr. Travis was still around. Probably check up with that one person, Hatsume, see how a certain mistress is doing back in Gaiopolis City. So I better be careful with this one. Go! Talonflame! Talonflame will... And basically, just do Ice Fang. Stoutland. Basically, right before Ice Fang would hit, like, he's gonna be like, fly, Talonflame! And it's like, come down, like, smack. And, freaking Stoutland would be, like, trying to, like, bite down on Talonflame as it went down. But this just ended up becoming, like, some sort of Pokemon version of an RKO out of nowhere. And then basically both of them kind of got tangled up into each other, fainted. Like, both of them fainted. Because Talonflame running right in, like, flying right into the Ice Fang, and Stoutland getting connected right straight freaking towards, like, a freaking fly. At, like, max speed. Well, the reason for not max speed probably be because, not to kill Talonflame. Like, Talonflame doesn't have the freaking speed force, like a certain Wally freaking West. And so both knocked out. So there goes the trials and tribulations of that. And basically, which I would bring up Ambipom. And he's just like, oh, Ambipom. This is interesting. Oh, why not get things started with a little friend? Go! Blastoise. Blastoise. And, Edgeshot would just tell Ambipom, like, freaking Mach Punch this dude. And he's gonna be like, Blastoise, punch versus punch, Ice Punch. And they're just like, if what happened to God knows what Pokemon that got frozen to death isn't an indication of, like, a big Pokemon versus a smaller Pokemon, it's like, and not only is Ambipom frozen, but it gets them flying into the sea, like, straight through it and on the way back down, unfrozen, because, like, all the shards got, like, broken into a million pieces. Yeah. Ambipom's freaking done. Like Gonzaroni. Spaghetti. And basically, Edge's just got that look. He's just like, go, Schlacken. And, he's just like, oh, this is going to get interesting. Blastoise. Mega Blastoise Eye. Just preparing Blastoise for the inevitable power of slacking once you finally get rid of Truant. Because apparently someone wanted to cheat, and, there was just a random Pokemon in the room, and apparently this Pokemon knew Gastro Acid, and automatically freaking don't know what Headshot it did, but something that he did scared the Pokemon, and it shot Gastro Acid at Slacking. Yeah, basically, Edgeshot not really wanting to deal with Truant, being Slacking's ability, Truant. Just freaking the equivalent of cheating. Because, he found it convenience of there being a specific Pokemon around while they were doing this. So basically, the equivalent of what's just about to happen right now is, well, basically, sucking Solar Beam! And basically, Izuku's like, oh, that's how you want to do things. Buddy, ain't gonna happen. Freaking Blastoise, Sheer Cold, and basically Sheer Cold and Solar Beam connect. And basically the next thing you see, like, Blastoise and Slapping are both out. Like, you tell me, Sheer Cold and Solar Beam connecting, what do you think is actually going to happen? Yeah, what I picture is both Pokemon being knocked the frick out. Basically, Edgeshot being like, Ursaring, go! And Ursaring's like, Ursaring. And, Izuku's like, okay, this is getting a little dangerous. I want to keep my eyes peeled for this one. Plusle, you can do it! And Puzzle's just like, okay. Nice to know that you sent me out after Captain Ugly. And her surgeon's like, why did you say about my mother? Basically, and Puzzle actually adds, and also Captain Stupid, apparently. Plus a plus. Plus a plus a plus 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 plus. And it's like, it was like, Iron Tail Plusle. And, freaking. It's like, freaking Edgeshot just like, crunch, Ursaring. And Ursaring just bites down on Plusle's tail. But one thing about this is, considering just how redonkulously powerful Plusle is, it really flips. It usually actually literally uses Ursaring's own momentum and the fact that its tail is really coated in iron to freaking body slam the dude onto the ground. And Ursaring being so unprepared for this, literally freaking just equivalent of freaking John Cena versus Big Show, just whoosh on his freaking asshole. Like Dookie schnoz him. Dookie freaking schnoz him. And yeah, Ursaring is totally completely conked out. And basically the last Pokemon, go Pidgeot! And he's like, oh, this is interesting. Basically, Pidgeot being like, Pidgeot, Sky Attack! And he's been like, oh, this is hilarious. And Edgeshot's like, what's so damn funny? And he's like, one thing you didn't account for. Let's do this! Thunder! And Edgeshot's just like, oh, that's right. That's what I didn't account for. And Pidgeot's just like, a Kentucky Fried Pidgeot. And, it's only because, like, freaking Plusle's steroid thunder powers that this actually was able to be done in one go. And basically, Edgeshot is just like, what are they freaking feeding these damn Pokemon these days? This is freaking insane. And he's going to just be like, and that's what she said, but Plusle would also be chorusing, like, with. He's going to be like, and that's what she said, like, and Plusle would be like, plus all. And now all of a sudden, basically, Izuku would realize the only other thing in his way to becoming champion, the actual champion, but basically, X-Transceiver Call. Basically, Izuku gets informed a little bit to kind of scarily that All for One is basically just broken in, and All Might had to fight freaking All for One. And he kind of got weak sauced. Yeah. So now, All for One believes himself to be the champion. The best in the freaking region. He won't just sell for best in the freaking region. He wants to be the best in the freaking world. So, he's just going to start raising hell until they literally decide to make him the best. And so basically everyone wants to bow down to him. And he's decided to start by dethroning the champion of the hero region, his sworn rival and enemy, All Might. He just basically weak-sauced his entire freaking team, which include, but not limited to, at least one way or another, Machamp, Dragonite, Braviary, Volcarona, Garchomp, and Saltmance. And yes, all of the Pokemon that can Mega Evolve in that team do have their own Mega Evolution Stones. And he still got his ass kicked. Technically, he was caught by surprise. And, All for One, being the, playing dirty like he likes to do. Yeah, it doesn't really look all that good for All Might. And if you look at freaking All for One's team, his Pokemon being Haxorus, Alakazam, Tyranitar, Volcanion, Spiritomb, and Hydreigon. And yes, any other Pokemon, if possible, that they might have the ability to Mega Evolve, have their Mega Evolution Stones. So, yeah. That might not exactly be so much of a surprise now, is it? And now Izuku has decided, it's enough is enough. He just decides to go in right freaking after this is all said. And All Might is like, young trainer, do not do this. It is all in vain. There is nothing left. And All for One is like, you might want to listen to him, kid. I'm not gonna let myself be dethroned like Giovanni. He's always just like besmirched the name of the person, the leader of Team Neo Rocket. Dude gathered up all the other evil team leader guys and become part of Team Neo Rocket or not Neo Rocket, Rainbow Rocket. Basically, just besmirching the name of the man who created Team Rainbow Rocket. That's just something you don't do unless you have the balls and the skills in order to make that possible. He's just insulting, besmirching the name of the leader of Team Rainbow Rocket. Which is, damn, that's mean. And so, basically, basically, Izuku been like, okay, let's do this. I have had it with your stupid organization, trying to screw with me, screw with my friends, and torturing people just because you think you can and get away without the consequences. I have had it with you all for one. You are finished. Right now. Yeah, it's like the freaking objection meme. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so shaken in my boots. And Izuku's like, screw you, asshole. Now let's freaking do this. And I'm gonna say that the freaking champion theme, like Steven, Hoenn, like the whole reason champion, like Steven. Yeah, basically that champion theme. Probably playing in the background. Everyone trying to act like he's the GOAT. Even though he just thugged on the GOAT. He's just like, you ain't the GOAT, you just thugged on the GOAT. But now I'm gonna be the new GOAT. After I kick your ass. Kick your candy ass, jabroni ass, looking little twofer, free to twofer looking freaking ass, Mother Teresa. Bringing in the bring ball, ching ball pain. Cheech and Jung with a 20-foot bong. Because that ain't healthy. It sure as hell ain't good. And like Sonic says, get out of there. But, Izuku is no longer going to take any of All For One's freaking shit. So, yeah. Basically, All For One deciding, go Haxorus. And Haxorus being like, Haxorus. And, well, let's just say, basically decided that this will be the end of All For One. And for a proper fitting in, he decides, Talonflame, go and show your stuff out there. And Talonflame's like, Talonflame. Basically, free, like, All For One just like, Dragon Breath, Haxorus. And he's just like, oh, no, you don't. Brave Bird, Talonflame. Just Brave Birds right through the freaking Dragon Breath. Smack straight into Haxorus' face. Causing it to like, crash into a wall. And like barely managed to come out. That's when Izuku's like, now, Talonflame. Freaking, just like, Talonflame, Metal Wing, Steel Wing, Metal Wing, whatever it's called. And then just like, return stroke, smack straight into Haxorus. Getting a two for oneer. And just like, GG no Re, like Haxorus. All of his Pokemon seem to have already battled All Might. They're a little bit weaker now. And, Haxorus just gets, a good old 1-2 Pokemon shoe with Star KO punch out for the Wii style. The goated. And, it just pisses All For One off. And he's just like, damn it. Why am I losing? And he's just like, go Alakazam! And like, Alakazam! And basically, it's like, Alakazam! Finish this fool. Show him no mercy. Psyshock. And he's just being like, okay then. We'll show you no mercy. Return to the flame. And like half everyone is like thinking, which one? And Izuku just giving him a look, you know which one. And like, return, smack. And freaking like I almost said Alice in Chains. Basically, like freaking Alexander like getting boom, 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 like freaking bounced off of the freaking wall. Just like smack. This is the power of friendship in which Izuku holds with his Pokemon. They are this, happy to be with him that they literally have anime level power freaking attacks. And basically, one's just like, "Rrr." Like he's trying to go Super Shredder mode. And it's like, Tyranitar now! And it's like, Tyranitar Hyper Beam! And Izuku's just like, return, Talonflame! Go Tapu Koko! It's like, Tapu Koko! And just seeing the Hyper Beam getting ever closer. Just like, Tapu Koko! Do your thing! Moonblast! And just like, and that was kind of freaking like Tyranitar's just like Tyranitar. And the was like bleh, bleh. But this is basically another one of those self-sacrificing moves in which Tapu Koko also takes the piss as well. And basically all everyone's finally like, finally. Basically, he's like, Volcanion, let's do this already. Scald. He's like, Scald? And he's like, you're attacking an already fainted Pokemon, dick. He's like, return, Tapu Koko. Go. He's like, Soleil. Or at least that's what was going to happen before Plus was like, no, I can do this. And even Izuku's starting to think that, Plus was getting a little bit too ahead of itself. I mean, this is a legendary we're talking about here. But Plus was like, I can do this. Don't worry, I can do this. And so basically, Plus gets in front of the skull, and Izuku's like, Plusle! Thunderbolt! And it's like, shh. And basically just electrifying the freaking skull, just like blowing up like a giant explosion. Basically, Offrone's like, Volcanion! Finish this fool! Overheat! And Izuku will be like, Plusle! Let's do this! Thunder! I was like, shh. And basically, finally, this epic clash, Volcanion is just out. And yeah, but it doesn't exactly look like Plusle is doing much better. And Izuku's just like, I knew it. I knew this was a little bit too much. Even for you. I mean, I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying, this just seems like way too much. And Plusle's just like, I can do this. I can do this. And basically, next Pokemon, Spiritomb, destroy them. You know what would be funny if whenever All For One was sending out Spiritomb, it would sound like what Zod tried to say in the freaking Man of Steel. It was like, destroy them! That would be hilarious as all get out, and you guys know it. Look, Spiritomb, destroy them! But sadly, or not sadly, I really don't know which right now. Freaking All For One is not a Kryptonian, and he is not anywhere near related to Zod in that regard, or any other regard. But that's just funny. Never gets old. Harrison, destroy him! Oh my god, that's hilarious. I'm never gonna be able to finish this, but keep on going. Anyways, basically, Spiritomb is out, and basically, plus the Thunderballs, and freaking everyone's like, Spiritomb, Shadow Ball, and basically, like the freaking Shadow Ball and the Thunderbolt will collide, but then All For One would just decide to cheat. Be like, Nightshade Spiritomb, and be like, and Plusle is like, I can't do this. Like, splat. And Izuku would just be like, you asshole. He's like pissed as all hell. Like, they've seen Izuku pissed, but not this freaking pissed. Like, Mina, Shoto, but they have not seen him anywhere near this freaking pissed. So it's like, freaking Spiritomb, and like now he's like, okay, let's do this. Let's go, Salazzle! Salazzle! And basically, All For One has just decided that he's about to like thrash on this noob. He's just like, Spiritomb, ominous wind. And he's just like, Salazzle, serpentine maneuver this! Bummel. And like All For One was like, serpentine maneuver? And just like zigzags straight in between like the freaking ominous wind. And it's like, now Salazzle, poison tail! It's like smack. And the badly poison just like knocks out Spiritomb. Like the Spiritomb didn't have a Wonder Guard. All For One, that's the one thing, dumb thing All For One did. Not have a Wonder Guard on his Spiritomb. And so now the final Pokemon. This really gets this music starts coming like doom 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 doom. Gets 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 do 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 do. Gets like just epic as hell. But maybe Salazzle and Spiritomb just got conked. So Hydreigon like just out there and basically he's like, Hydreigon, let's end this. Hyper Beam! And it's like, Hydreigon! And he's gonna be like, oh hell no. And he would just be like, Salazzle, we can do this. Show him no mercy. Sludge Bomb! There's like Sludge Bomb like overshoots the hyper beam. Salazzle swerves out of the way. Hyper beam plows through the wall, but like Salazzle swerving out of the way and shooting out a friggin' Sludge Bomb, and just like splats right into the freaking face, like all three faces of Hydreigon. Because instead of hands, like and arms, freaking Hydreigon head just has two other faces. It like splats into all of them, and like badly poisoned. And Alpha-1's like, oh hell no, you are not doing this to me. And it's like, Hydreigon, Dragon Pulse, and he goes like, oh no, you don't. Salazzle jump and use Poison Tail, and everyone's just like, oh hell no. I was like, Dragon Rage, and basically Dragon Rage grinding up against Poison Tail, basically causing an explosion that basically causes freaking Salazzle to go like into like automatic Matrix mode and backflip like gymnastics all the way around the damn gym and return stroking with another Poison Tail straight into freaking Hydreigon's face automatically. Like, yeah. You didn't think it was just going to be a swagger Pokemon. No, this Pokemon's like Matrix as well. Like Matrix-ified. There's like, and basically Alpha-1 is just like, oh, you make me so mad. And it's just like, Hydreigon, let's finish this. There will be no more of this boy and his Pokemon. We will end them. This will be the end. You will pay. And they're just like, Hydreigon, use Thunder. And he's like, oh, this guy can use Thunder. Well, that's interesting. And basically, he's just like kind of like doing some combat signals, like, and Salazzle's like, oh, that. Interesting. And then just starts freaking handstanding and using its freaking Poison Tail as a conductor for the electricity, and then just starts spinning and then basically falling directly into Hydreigon's face, tail first. So a literally like lightning rod Poison Tail conducting all the electricity from a thunder straight into Hydreigon's main face. And they're like, and this is so powerful that it actually causes the other two faces to actually start to bleed out the mouth. And the middle face, which is the actual real head of Hydreigon, basically just causes like the eyes to roll back into its head. And it's just like just out of there. Get out of this house. You are not wanted. You are an unwanted child. Get out. Get out. Get out. 99999. And Alpha-1 is just like, what? This is unacceptable. And he's just like, sadly, it looks like you're going to have to accept it. And Alpha-1 is like, what the hell are you talking about? And basically, he's like, well, it seems like someone has had a change of heart over the last time that we saw them. Or at least I saw them. Deoxys, buddy! And like freaking Alpha-1's like, wait, who? What? When, where, why? What? And all of a sudden, Deoxys just has one of its arms like turned into the many different like tentacle thingies and wrap around Alpha-1 right behind him and just like restrain him, wait for the police to get there, and confiscate all of his freaking things, all of his shit. And just Alpha-1 actually realizes that Darkrai is actually there, and Alphamo's like, Darkrai, why aren't you doing anything? And Darkrai's just like, because I don't follow the ravings. Granted ravings, I'm a madman. At least not anymore. Oh, and just to show you how real this is, it just charges up something, and Alpha One is like, wait, no. Death is just finally like dislocate its arm tentacles, right as soon as it's about to hit, and you just hear like Alpha One would just hear Dark Void, boom, and all of a sudden you just be stuck in a nightmare. For however long, Darkrai didn't exactly feel like telling the police, but either way, he's still suffering for his crimes against humanity and Pokemon alike. So technically now, since Alpha One beat All Might, technically this means Izuku is now the champion, yes. And what better way to celebrate this than to basically heal Pokemon nearest like a healing place after basically getting congratulated to hell by All Might. Just being like how thankful that he is that not only does he have someone to pass on the torch to, but basically someone finally got rid of All for One, that he couldn't do. Something that he couldn't do alone. Or at all. Now he truly knows that he can serve Izuku as the champion of the Hero region. And finally, Izuku would just decide to be like, well, time, I bet Mom would like to hear about this. Oh, and All Might's like, oh, I'm sure she already has. And Izuku's like, what do you mean? And basically, All Might's special Pokedex, and why it's special is because it's a Rotom Dex, basically goes over and tells Izuku, like, oh, it was televised, just in case, one of you either won or lost. And Izuku's like, that was televised? And Izuku would just freak out, and Shoto and Mina would have to run after him. Shigaraki really not having to run, considering he was already at leisurely at the close pace whenever Izuku just now started to realize that all of that was televised. His last match. So yeah, they would end up using Telefilm to fly back to, home sweet home, at least for Izuku. And Bakugo would just break down his door whenever he had finally, Izuku had talked up, like, basically about everything over dinner, deciding that would be a good thing. Basically, Izuku would be chilling in his room, just really, like, finally realizing, wait, I am the Pokemon champion. Holy shit. And then someone would just break down his damn door, like, not even bother to freaking ask. Just, like, see Bakugo, like, Jacko! And then Izuku just being like, damn it, freaking Bakugo. Damn it. And Bakugo being like, where are the other two? So I can drag them back here to see me kick your ass. So I'll become the champion. And Izuku just like, technically Shoto and Mina have decided that they're going to do their own thing with their own lives. See, as I fulfilled my purpose, yet they have failed to basically do the same. They have decided to go on their own ways, their own paths. Last time I checked, I heard that ever since what happened with Professor Birch, Owen's been needing a new professor. And also, that one May girl, if you remember anything about it, a person called May. And no, I'm not talking about the person mischievous to, the one who is the daughter of Professor Birch. She didn't exactly take it all that well, but now that you know that there's someone to take his place as professor of the Hoenn region, and even a little bit of a note of girl power in that, the fact that they are a girl. And Bucker's like, wait. Woman is the professor of the freaking Hoenn region now? And he's like, well, they need someone to fill a spot, and seem to just have the correct smarts and correct power to fit right in. She even managed to spot a couple random wild Pokemon that looked like they needed the correct amount of TLC, tender loving care. And maybe some new prospering trainers would be able to help with that. Let's see, if I remember correctly, yes, Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. Yeah. Mina Ashida, new professor of the Hoenn region. And as for Shoto, well, considering he literally holds with him the Pokemon of the North Wind, and also everything that he figured out about the connection of Sinnoh and Johto, he's kind of a little bit of a historian for the connections in between all three regions, Kanto, Johto, and Sinnoh. So I guess you couldn't even say he's more of a traveling man. Though I also heard him say something about possibly wanting to go to Kalos sometime soon. Maybe even spot some of the islands within the Alola region. So I guess you couldn't even say that he has a lot to think and talk about. Yeah, that's last time I remember, I actually heard about him getting a sponsorship from Mr. Pokemon himself. And Bakugo will be like, what sponsorship? Who the hell will give that half asshole a sponsorship? And Izuku's just like, he's the asshole? No, Bakugo, I think you're misunderstood. You're the asshole. And so we'll just come in with the Pokeball like, and be like, point at him like, yeah, you're the asshole. And Bakugo will be like, wait, what? And Izuku will be like, wait, I was told that the film, like, basically the entire thing was televised, and basically that whole thing, and Bakugo would just be like, the 2 + 2 = 4? Holy shit. Yeah, Bakugo just not having it right now. But he doesn't even want to know what the hell Izuku meant by, like, sponsored by Mr. freaking Pokemon of all people. And what exactly he's being sponsored for. Basically, Izuku, like, saying, some sort of worldwide Pokemon fan club. Or at least something like a branch out from it. Yes, certain things have to do with certain, not so good people trying to use Pokemon to hurt the world rather than help it. And a connection to them between Pokemon and humans being basically rather rattled up because of that. Basically, what Shoto says he's basically looking forward to is using his promotion by Mr. Pokemon, creating his ultimate, branching out of the true blue Pokemon fan club all the way across the different regions of the world to promote a good, healthy relationship in between all those who are in a relationship with Pokemon, whether it just be house pets whether they be trainers or whether they just be contest goers. A healthy, good relationship with Pokemon is what Shoto wishes to promote most of all. And I hear there's a lot of commercial backing from Mr. Pokemon that helped Shoto reach the goal that he's gotten so far to right now. He's very well known. Surprising that you didn't hear any about that. Making, help towards a better future for Pokemon and humans alike. Man, sometimes whenever I really think about it, I'm proud of them both. Mina and Shoto. They both went forward and did their best, and, well, with what they had, they really made a good life for themselves. And Bakugo would just be like, and what about the other one? The one you replaced me with? And Izuku would just be like, first of all, shut up, Bakugo. You were never part of the team at all. Ever. You even insisted that yourself. When about Tenko? Well, that's just the thing. Salazzle, find Tenko so I don't have to kick his ass. Salazzle will be like, Salazzle. And basically, the next thing you will hear is like, Salazzle, what are you doing? And it's like, Bakugo was like, Izuku, does this guy live at your house now? And Izuku's like, first of all, that's Pokemon champion of the Hero region, Izuku Midoriya to you. And second of all, well, gotta admit he's kind of hot. And Bakugo was just like, what? And basically, Salazzle would just be dragging Tenko upstairs and be like, blah, but the muffins aren't even done. And Salazzle just being like, just quit your bitching. Tenko, just quit your bitching. It's like, Salazzle. And just like, every time Salazzle goes up a step, just keep on smacking. It's like, freaking Tenko in the head. It's like, with its tail. And Tenko finally managing to get up. It's like, Izuku. It's Salazzle harassed the hell out of me getting up the damn stairs. And, Izuku trying to be a little cheeky little shit. It's like, oh, that's just Salazzle showing that it likes you. My manners. She likes you. And Izuku basically, Tenko just gets up right then and there. Is like, well, excuse me. And excuse you, Izuku Salazzle. There is only one person after my heart that I will accept them being after my heart, and all like that, but I will directly allow it to be. There is only one man who has that title. Only one person who has that title. And her name, I am not afraid to say it. Screw you, Bakugo. Don't give a shit what you say. That man is Izuku Midoriya. And freaking Bakugo's just like, oh my god, you are freaking, what is that? And Izuku's just like, oh, you see, are matching. And freaking Bakugo's like, matching freaking rings? And Shigaraki's just like Tenko's just like, yeah, it took a while for Izuku to actually get the balls to propose. And Izuku just like, damn it, Tenko. You don't have to remind everyone who come across. But yes, it kind of was difficult for me to come to terms with all this. And Tenko, don't say like you actually like you were like any better. Anyways, yeah. What'd you say about muffins? And Bakugo would just be like, okay, that's it. I'm leaving the building. I am out of here. this is not a world I want to live in. Not a world where you two are freaking engaged. Jesus Christ. I am out of here. And he's like, well, that's just what you're missing on. Missing out on. And, Tango's like, well, yeah, you can miss out on this all he freaking wants. I never want to see his face again. And he's just like, not even the honeymoon? And just Tango just gives him a look like, especially not even on the honeymoon. And he's just like, okay then. I guess there'll be no smelling you later. And Tango will be like, you're funny. And he's gonna just be like, now, what did you say about muffins? And just be like, really, man? Really? And then you would just see out of nowhere Mac just like literally like smacked into the screen, saying like the end. Yes, that's right. Finally, the journey comes to a close. Pokemon champion of the Hero region, Izuku Midoriya. His journey finally at a close. I'm the Dark Shadow Maverick, and well, I don't know if I'm thinking of because the Dark Shadow Maverick is OT out here, you boys. Like, favorite, subscribe. Bye. 1,000.